Across the developed world, the math behind pensions is slowly collapsing. In the 1950s, the United States had 16 workers supporting every retiree. Today, there are fewer than 3. And believe it or not, that ratio is still considered relatively good. In Japan, the working age population has fallen by more than 14 million since 1995. In France, pensions already consume 14% of the entire national economy, one of the highest shares on Earth. These systems were built for a different era, an era when people had more children and spent fewer years in retirement. But that world doesn't exist anymore. Global life expectancy has jumped by 3 decades. Birth rates have plummeted, and the numbers simply no longer add up. By 2050, 1 in every 6 people will be over the age of 65, compared with 1 in 11 today. Nearly all developed countries now face below replacement fertility rates. That means fewer young workers entering the economy, fewer taxpayers, and fewer people supporting an aging population. Yet almost no government wants to confront the issue, because fixing pensions means asking citizens to work longer, contribute more, or accept lower payments. And none of those decisions win elections. But the longer leaders wait, the worse the imbalance becomes. Several major economies are already showing signs of strain, and the pressure is only increasing. So is the global pension crisis solvable? What happens if governments continue to avoid tough choices? And is there any country that's actually making progress? We all know technology is reshaping the job market faster than ever. Nearly half of workers worldwide fear losing their jobs to automation, but many still believe it won't happen to them until it does. That's why I've partnered with Outskill to bring you a 2-day live AI mastermind training. More than 10 million people have already attended worldwide. It's happening this Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. EST. This training normally costs $395, but Outskill's Black Friday sale is giving all of my viewers free access. This isn't one of those low-quality courses exploiting fear around AI. It's taught by experts from Microsoft, OpenAI, NVIDIA, Google, and more. In 2 days, you'll learn over 10 AI tools, master AI workflows in Excel, sheets and presentations, and even build your own AI agents. If you want to future-proof your career or business, grab your free spot using the link in the description. Seats fill fast. Don't miss it. The Pension Promise, and why it's cracking pensions, were one of the great social contracts of the 20th century. You work now, contribute to the system, and in retirement, society supports you. But that promise only holds if the math works. And increasingly, it doesn't. Most pension systems operate under a pay-as-you-go model. Your contributions aren't saved for your retirement. They're used to pay current retirees. Then, the next generation pays for you. After World War II, this worked beautifully. Populations were young, birth rates high, and economies booming. The US, for example, had 5 times more workers per retiree than it does today. Fast forward to today, the ratio has dropped from 16 to just 2.7 workers per retiree. And even that number includes the massive rise of women in the workforce, which means the real shift is even more dramatic. By 2035, it's expected to fall to around 2.3. This trend is mirrored across Europe, Japan, South Korea, and much of the developed world. Economists call it a dependency ratio crisis. Too few workers supporting too many retirees. The US, the world's biggest pension system, under pressure. Over 73 million Americans receive Social Security, funded by a 12.4% payroll tax split between employees and employers. In theory, the system should balance itself. As long as enough people contribute, retirees get paid. But the balance is slipping. By 2035, Social Security's trust funds are projected to run out of reserves. After that, payroll taxes would only cover about 83% of promised benefits. That translates to an automatic 17% income cut for retirees unless Congress intervenes. For the average American living on $1,900 per month, that's roughly $300 gone. As of 2022, they were short $127 trillion. States like Illinois, New Jersey, and Kentucky have less than 60% of the assets needed to pay future retirees. Japan, a country running out of people. If America's problem is running out of money, Japan's problem is running out of people. Japan has the world's third oldest population. By 2050, nearly 40% of its citizens will be over 65. Since 1995, its working-age population has fallen by 13 million. Pension costs now absorb more than 9% of Japan's GDP, and the government has been forced to borrow heavily, pushing public debt to more than 250% of GDP, the highest among developed nations. Japan also faces a unique challenge: its employment ice age generation. After the 1990s economic crash, millions of young workers were pushed into part-time or unstable jobs without pensions or benefits. Now that generation is nearing retirement with little savings and patchy pension contributions. Economists warn this could create a wave of elderly poverty in the coming decades. France. When pensions weigh on the whole economy, France's pension system isn't insolvent, but its cost is enormous. 14% of national GDP. Every euro spent on pensions is a euro not spent on hospitals, infrastructure, climate investments, or balancing the national budget. Attempts to reform the system have sparked widespread unrest. When the government increased the retirement age from 62 to 64 in 2023, millions protested. The pushback was so intense that cities shut down and political approval ratings collapsed. China, the fastest aging population in history. China's pension system is young compared to Western countries, but its demographic shift is happening at record speed. Decades of the one-child policy have created a narrow base of young workers and an enormous wave of upcoming retirees. By 2050, China will have over 360 million citizens aged 65 or older, more than the entire U.S. population today. Some projections warn China's national pension fund could run out by the early 2030s. Because China hasn't had generations of wealth accumulation, many retirees rely heavily on state pension payments. If the system runs dry, the consequences will be severe. A $400 trillion global gap, add everything together, and the picture becomes staggering. 4 times the size of the entire world economy. If this is such an obvious crisis, why aren't governments doing more? Because every solution involves short-term pain, and short-term pain loses elections. Why governments keep delaying reform? Fixing pensions typically means one of 3 things. People work longer, people contribute more, people receive less. None of these options are politically popular. Older voters, who rely on pensions, vote in the highest numbers. So politicians often promise never to touch pension benefits, even as the systems drift closer to crisis. Raising the retirement age economically, it's straightforward. If people live longer, they work longer. But politically, it's explosive. France's protests are the perfect example. Even though the country spends an enormous share of its economy on pensions, raising the retirement age by just 2 years triggered national chaos. Cutting benefits on paper, reducing payouts balances the books. In reality, it pushes vulnerable seniors into poverty. In Japan, 1 in 5 elderly citizens already lives in relative poverty. Inflation makes the problem worse. Even if benefits stay the same on paper, their real value declines over time. Raising taxes on workers. Increasing payroll taxes hits the group already struggling with high living costs and stagnant wages. Younger generations in many countries increasingly believe they'll never see the benefits they're paying for. If taxes rise too much, younger workers may simply move abroad for better opportunities. Privatization. Chile famously attempted full privatization in 1981. At first, it seemed successful, but over time, many retirees ended up with far smaller pensions than expected, especially during market downturns. Public backlash forced the government to reintroduce a basic minimum pension. Hybrid systems, Australia's superannuation system, is often praised globally. Employers contribute a fixed percentage of a worker's income into a private retirement account, supplemented by tax incentives for voluntary contributions. Over decades, this has grown into more than $4 trillion in retirement assets, more than Australia's GDP. But the system isn't perfect. Tax breaks cost the government around 1.9% of GDP annually, and higher-income Australians benefit disproportionately. Lower-income workers still rely on public pensions. Countries that are actually getting it right. A few countries have taken early action, and the results are telling. Denmark links its retirement age to life expectancy. As lifespans increase, the retirement age adjusts automatically. No major political fights, no sudden shocks. Germany and the Netherlands. Both countries have taken similar approaches, gradually shifting retirement ages upward based on demographic trends. Sweden. Sweden's reforms are widely considered the most successful. In the 1990s, it replaced fixed pension promises with a notional defined contribution system. Payments automatically adjust when people live longer or when the economy slows. When the 2008 financial crisis hit, pensions dropped by about 4%. Not ideal, but the system stayed solvent. And because the rules were transparent, the country avoided mass protests. So, is the pension crisis solvable? There are no perfect solutions, but there are workable ones. Countries that act early can make small adjustments over decades instead of facing massive crises later. Predictable, transparent rules build trust. People need to believe that the system won't collapse by the time they retire. But if governments continue delaying action, the eventual fixes will be far more painful. A more radical idea. Some thinkers propose even more unconventional solutions. One example is billionaire hedge fund manager Bill Ackman's idea. Give every newborn household $1,000. Invest it from birth and let compound interest secure their retirement. Controversial? Absolutely. Impossible? Not necessarily. You can watch the full breakdown in the video linked on your screen. Thanks for watching. Take care.